Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Set Free from the Trap Life Ministry podcast. Okay? Set Free from the Trap Life Ministry podcast. I'm on here to share about young men and women speaking death out of their mouth every time they talk. A lot of young men and women in this world can't see that they speaking stuff into existence. A lot of young men and women can't see what they saying out their mouth is wrong. They can't see that they're speaking things into existence, speaking death over each other. In our world today, people are having death conversation. Death. Their tongue is full of death. Young men and women's mouth is full of death. Young men and women are speaking death out of their mouth every time they talk. Today in our world, people's mouth is full of death. They speak death. They speak death. When they cussing, they speaking death. They speaking stuff into existence. Okay? The Bible says the tongue has the power. The tongue has the power of life. The tongue has the power of life. Jesus' words bring life. John 6:63. Let me go there. Okay? So it's talking about the tongue. People in this world don't realize they can't see that they causing stuff to happen with their own mouth. They're speaking death and causing stuff to happen, and they can't see what they're saying is wrong. They can't see what they're saying is wrong. The tongue has the power of life. John 6:63 says right here in John 6. I'm going to John 6. Many of his disciples deserted him. Many of Jesus' disciples deserted him. So it says in John 6:63, he says right here, the spirit gives life, the flesh counts for nothing. The words I spoke to you are life. They are life. So Jesus Christ's words bring life. Proverbs 18:21, the tongue has the power of life. Jesus' words bring life. In the flesh, the natural nature profits nothing. So there's a lot of young men and women speaking death over each other. But they're being deceived from the truth of God. The devil is deceiving them. They can't see that what they speaking is death. They're speaking death out their mouth, but they're trying to justify it. The tongue has the power of life. Jesus' words bring life. John 6:63. His words are life. Jesus' words bring life, but the flesh counts for nothing. There's so many young men and women who get around each other. They talk death. They speak death. They're speaking death out of their mouth every day. Young men and women are speaking death out of their mouth every single day. And they're speaking stuff into existence. They're speaking things into existence. The world we live in today, people can't see what they're saying is wrong because the devil is blinding their mind. The devil is blinding the mind. It says in 2 Corinthians 4, if the gospel is veiled, the God of this age, disguising himself, has blinded the minds of unbelievers so they cannot see the light of God. There's a lot of people blind in their mind to the truth of God. They can't see what they're saying is wrong. They can't see. They're speaking stuff into existence. The tongue has the power of life. Jesus' words bring life. John 6:63, his words are life. His words bring life. The flesh, the natural nature profits nothing. So there's a lot of young men and women that are blind to God's truth up here in the mind. And they can't see that they're speaking stuff into existence. They're so blind to God's truth. And you can go into a brand new year with the same old mouth that's full of death. You're celebrating the new year, but your mouth is full of death. Your mouth is speaking death. Your mouth is speaking death. But you get around a whole bunch of other people and they all speaking death too. In our world today, young men and women are speaking death every single day, speaking death out of their mouth. but they so blind to God's truth. Men and women, young men and women are so blind up here. They blind to the truth of God. Speaking deaf. Get around a whole bunch of other young men and women, and they all speak deaf. They all speak deaf. Speaking deaf. So if you continue to speak deaf, then that's going to happen to you. And that's what's going on in our world today. Deaf. Talking deaf. Speaking deaf. Cussing is deaf. Calling cussing words, it's deaf. Speaking deaf. That's what they're speaking. If you keep speaking deaf, then deaf gonna come visit you. Young men and women today are speaking deaf out of their mouth every time they talk. Every time. Everything that come out of a young man or woman's mouth is deaf. There's deaf. They speaking deaf. What they listening to is speaking deaf. Jesus says the tongue has the power of life. Jesus' words bring life. John 6:63. His words are life. That's John 6:63. But the flesh in the natural nature, it profits nothing. There's so many young men and women that are blind to God's truth, speaking deaf over each other every day. Every time they open up their mouth. This is a deaf culture. They speaking deaf every time. Speaking deaf. They blind to God's truth. And they doing themselves in with their own mouth every day. Young men and women are speaking deaf out of their mouth every time they talk. Jesus' words bring life. When you let Jesus have your mouth, then when you let Jesus Christ have your mouth, then you can speak his words. He can help you. He can help you not to cuss. But so many women and men, young men and women, are speaking deaf every day out their mouth. The tongue has the power of life. Jesus' words bring life. That's John 6:63. But the flesh profits nothing, the natural nature, not your body, but the flesh, the natural nature. The devil is blowing people's mind from God's truth. They speaking stuff into existence. They speaking that into existence. They blind to God's truth up here. 2 Corinthians 4. Bye-bye. This is volume 1.